welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Gabrielle. I am a senior in high school, not for long, but today I have a special tutorial for you guys, highly requested from one of my monthly what I made videos, which was these arm warmers and skirt set. So today I will be bringing you the tutorial for the skirt. Let's hear some hype. Yes! It's actually fairly simple. I don't like using the word easy because some people may get frustrated and then think that they're bad. It's okay, just compared to a lot of projects, this one doesn't have that many steps. Once you do the first row, you just repeat it for the rest. So this should not be too complicated. But yeah, if you feel like making something that would match this and you want to make the arm warmers, definitely go check out that tutorial after this one. And consider subscribing to my channel if you like the tutorials that I make. Without further waiting, let's get into the tutorial. Here are all of the materials that you're going to need for this tutorial. First up, some sort of yarn. I'm using the same yarn from my last tutorial, so I'll put a clip of the labels on here in case you guys want to get it. This brand has a bunch of different shades and color schemes, so you should definitely check them out. Then you can choose to use the same yarn for the ribbing at the top, which will be around your waist. For me, I'm going to be using this white color, a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, a 5.5mm crochet hook, and a 3.75mm crochet hook. To start, we're going to make a slip knot. So wrap the yarn around your fingers and make a cross. Then go underneath the first strand of yarn and pull that second strand of yarn through. Then just keep pulling. Then you can tighten onto your hook. And we're going to start by making foundation half double crochets. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to yarn over and insert our hook into that first chain. Yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through that first one only. Then yarn over, pull through the last 3. So that chain 1 that we kind of did in the middle of our stitch is where we're going to go into next. So we're going to yarn over, then insert our hook right down here at the bottom. So this is our knot from the beginning. We're going to go one above that. And you should see like a little V. That's where I'm going. Yarn over, pull through. Yarn over, pull through 1. That's going to be where we go in next, so you might want to pinch that with your thumb so you don't forget where it is. Yarn over, pull through the next 3. So now that I have it pinched, I know where I'm going. You can also tell because it's the second V up. Yarn over, insert your hook into that V at the bottom, to the left. Yarn over, pull through. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through that first one. That's where we go in next, so pinch that with your fingers. Yarn over, pull through all 3. So as you can see, we're kind of building up our stitches as we go. So yarn over, insert your hook into that V to the left. And then you can count, you can see we got 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through the first one only, then through the last 3. Continue this until you have enough stitches that can stretch around your waist. Then I'll meet you guys back. For reference, I am making 89 of these half double crochet foundation stitches. You might want to add more stitches or less stitches so that this can fit around your waist. Remember, you want it to kind of stretch to fit around your waist. You don't want it to be loose. just so that it can actually fit you nice and snug. So I'll meet you guys back when you have as many stitches as you need. Alright, so this is how long mine is. So that will fit around my waist. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to connect both sides. So make sure that everything is the same direction and bring the two corners together. Again, might want to make sure everything's the same direction all the way around. And we're going to connect the two tops. And it's going to be a little weird because the two bottoms won't be connected, but don't worry, we'll fix it when we are finished with crocheting the actual skirt part. We'll just tie it together. So what we're going to do is insert this hook into the first stitch of the other side and then make a small slip stitch to join. So to make a slip stitch, yarn over and pull through the stitch that you want and through the little loop on your hook. So that's a little slip stitch, and those are used for joining. Now we're going to chain 2 and turn our work. So now we're going to make sure that our sides are correct. So now we're gonna put 1 half double crochet into each stitch all the way down. So we're gonna make a half double crochet into our first stitch right here. Yarn over, insert your hook into that first stitch. It'll have a little V on the top. Yarn over and pull through, and yarn over, pull through all 3 loops that are on your hook. Then yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So continue making half double crochets all the way around, 1 into each stitch. So our entire skirt is basically going to be just doing this. I don't do any increases or decreases because I like my skirt to be nice and tight, and so when I put it on, it'll naturally stretch in areas that it needs to and naturally be fitting where it doesn't stretch. And I think it's really flattering doing it that way. Whereas if I put increases where I'm wider or bigger, then it wouldn't really stretch in those areas and it would just kind of be looser, which is just a different style than the skirt that I'm going for. So I'll meet you guys when you have put half double crochets into each stitch and you're back at the start of this row. Alright, so this is what my skirt is looking like so far. As you can tell, it is definitely a little weird over here at the bottom. Just remember, we're going to be closing that at the end and also joining here. So this is the last stitch that I went into because this one you can see the chains are coming out of that next stitch, so I don't put a stitch in there. Then we're going to insert our hook into the first V available at the top. Then yarn over, pull through, and through the loop on the hook. So now chain 2 and turn your work and repeat this. I repeat this until I run out of yarn. You repeat this until you try it on and it's as long as you want it. Keeping in mind we're going to be adding a 2-inch ribbing to the top. So just add 2 inches basically. And continue doing this until you like the length of it. Half double crochets all the way around, slip stitch to join to the beginning of the row, chain 2, turn your work, and repeat. And I do that, so I have 45 rows on my initial skirt. I'm just gonna do this till I run out of yarn. I will see you guys back when you have made enough rows for the entire length of your skirt and show you how to finish the ribbing in the waist area. So I finished my length of the skirt that I like, and to finish it off, I just did a slip stitch and then I chained 1 and pulled it tight, and then I can just trim the length there. And then now we just have to connect the 2 sides over here. So what I'm actually going to do is just thread this thread through the bottom. Just kind of stick my hook and then pull it through both of these. Chain 1, pull it through, and pull it tight. And that's really all. Then decide which end you want to be the top and the bottom. I kind of like this dark blue color to be the top, and so now I'm gonna get whatever yarn that I'm using. I'm getting my white yarn, but you can use whatever yarn that you want to use for your ribbing. Make a slip knot, and I just want to show you that I'm using a 3.75mm crochet hook for this part. I have my slip knot on my hook. I insert my hook into a random stitch, yarn over, pull through, and through the loop on my hook. Chain the amount you want it to be high up. For my first skirt, I chained 10. For this one, I'm gonna chain 8. Then we're going to make one single crochet into each of the chains that we've made, except for that first chain, because that is gonna be the side of our first row. So we're gonna skip the first chain and go into the second chain from the hook. If you're confused, that would be one less than the number of chains that you made. So since I made 8 chains, I could count up from the bottom 7 to figure out that stitch. So now work a single crochet. So yarn over, pull your yarn through the loop, then yarn over and pull through both loops on your hook. Again, that's inserting your hook into a stitch, yarn over and pull through, then yarn over and pull through both loops that are on your hook. Continue this all the way down your chain. If you chained 8 like me, you should have a total of 7 chains when you get to the bottom. Alright, so that's what it looks like. Then we're going to attach it to our skirt. So insert your hook into that first blue stitch that's next and make a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull through and pull through. So we just attached what we made to our skirt, but now we're starting the next row. So we have to make one more slip stitch for the beginning of the next row. Then we turn our work. So pretend that's like chaining 1. Turn our work, and then we're going to skip the 2 slip stitches. So 1, 2, and we're going to go into our first single crochet. If you're confused about where your first single crochet is, you can count 7 from the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 is the one I'm in. And then we're going to do the same, we're going to make some ribbing. So this means that we only go into the back loop. So here you can see I'm not going underneath both loops, I'm just going underneath that back loop, which is the loop furthest away from me. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through. Then, instead of going into your next stitch like that, only go through the top so you can get to the back loop. Yarn over, pull through, and pull through the 2 loops. Continue this until you get to the end of the row. When you're at the end of the row, chain 1, turn your work, and now repeat the same process. So only going through the back loops of each stitch, make 7 single crochets until you reach your skirt. Okay, make a slip stitch into that next stitch. Then we have to start for our next row. So make a slip stitch again into that next stitch and turn your work. Skip the 2 slip stitches and go into that third chain looking thing, or you can count from the left, 7 to make sure you're in the right spot, and make 7 total single crochets to the end of the row. Continue repeating this until you have made the ribbing all the way around the skirt, and I'll meet you guys at the end so that I can show you how to join the ribbing and officially finish off the skirt. So I only had enough yarn to do 31 rows, so that's how many I've done, but here's my ribbing. So I've gone all the way around, almost, I guess it undid a little bit. So once you have finished, you want to figure out which side is the outside of your skirt, which for me is this side, so we want to connect them on the inside. So I'm going to fold that. I want to line up these 2 together, and so when I do my single crochets to join them, if I unfolded, the single crochets are only visible on this side, which is my inside. So just touch the 2 edges together like so, and then on the inside we're going to connect them. So chain 1 with your yarn, then line up each stitch, and into the first stitch of this front row and the first stitch of the back row, insert your hook, yarn over and pull through both of the ribbings, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops on your hook. That is the first single crochet. So now we're going to want to continue going along, going into the next stitch of both of the ribbings and making a single crochet. And continue doing this all the way along, and this is just going to attach the ribbings together. Congratulations on making it this far on your skirt. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please consider subscribing for more amazing tutorials like this one, and leave a comment down below for any questions that you have. So once you have made your single crochets, make sure to chain 1, pull up your yarn, and cut it off. Then you can flip your work back to the right side, and this just continues down with the seam. So you can wear this part on the side of your hip or down the middle of your butt or wherever you want the seam to be. And then if you want, you can definitely add some white for the bottom. I like mine how it is, so I'm gonna leave it there. Now all we have to do is weave in the ends. So I like to just go through each of the stitches. So as you can see with my needle, I'm just going right through the middle of that ribbing that we just made with the single crochets. Pull it all the way through, cut the tail off, and repeat this with any ends that you have lingering around. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you were able to follow along with this skirt tutorial. Let me know what you thought in the comments and what ideas you have for any future tutorials that you would like to see. Alright, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video.